And we know that eating disorders are complex and deeply personal experiences that affect people of all ages, identities, and backgrounds. And we know that digital health tools are really changing mental health care. So let's start off with the topic of co-designing digital health tools. Rachel, we're wondering if you could talk to us a bit about what is real co-design and how is it best done?
I've definitely learned that co-design is an ongoing process, that it doesn't stop once the project is developed. It's a part of a broader co-production process, which that in itself includes co-evaluation and just continuing to build this relationship and deliver the product with the people that you've been working with in the design as well.
What are the main barriers to accessing care for eating disorders?
In the context of young people, parent-related barriers are perhaps the biggest barrier to getting care. We really need to make these tools available to folks without parental consent, which requires sometimes even working with government and informing public policy so that teens are able to actually access these tools on their own. And often they're more comfortable doing so, and this can be totally anonymous.
There's a growing movement in Canada around using digital solutions to address stigma. And anonymity seems to be especially important in the context of eating disorders. What are your experiences with stigma and digital tool adoption in the countries or the communities that you work with?
One of the initial hooks, and still remains a hook of the app, is to be able to take a picture of your meal and then have the app ask you the questions. It removes that stigma of having your eating disorder out there for everyone to see or judge, at least in their perception.
I think as a person with lived experience of an eating disorder, it's very much a case of a lot of the treatment that we experience can be very punitive, as opposed to a digital tool is more safe. You can do it on your terms. You've got your own autonomy.
We've seen in particular, because GEM was freely accessible on a website, it was completely anonymous and really early treatment seeking. We saw a very high proportion of people who identify as LGBTIQA+, as well as culturally and linguistically diverse, who wouldn't normally call the associated helpline or go for that in-person support. And we did see in their responses that they really liked that anonymity.
I'm wondering if you could tell us if you have any thoughts on the need to consider cultural intricacies and certain demographics, such as age, when it comes to designing tools for eating disorders.
Now that we're adapting it into Spanish, beside the translation and cultural adaptation of the language, the subject of food is just so different from place to place. There are so many important things to consider so that when someone is using this digital tool, it actually speaks to them, right? How many countries are there in the United Nations? 250. Ideally, would it have 250 different versions because none is the same.
Could you tell me what excites you most about where digital health care is and heading towards eating disorder care?
What excites me most is seeing lived experience come on board. The people using these services have so much to give, have so much they know what they need. It's a case of listening to them and allowing them to have that platform.
More and more people are talking about it. For us, it's about access, and adaptations is the way to go. And I know that we're going to make a lot of inroads in that. We're going to adapt and embrace digital solutions as a part of getting more people the care they deserve. So I'm really excited to see that.
I think it's just that global perspective, and particularly with Core ED, learning from each other and that all voices approach. That's what really excites me about digital health.
Wonderful.
And I'll just finish off with saying work to reduce the research to practice gap and designing hybrid effectiveness trials where we're actually looking at, do our digital interventions work and how do we implement them in the real world at the same time?